So please stay tuned. Yes, it's recorded now. 1 more minute.
Oh, yes, we're on Facebook Live. Say something and you shall be remembered forever. So think and say.
All right. Hello, everyone. Okay. Fellow Toastmaster and distinguished guests, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, no matter in Zoom or in Facebook Live. Yes, we are on live on Facebook. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to District 102 PR Festival. My name is Jordan Lee, and I'm going to be the Sergeant at Arms for this session. Before we proceed to the next item in our agenda, let me read out some online meeting etiquettes for your kind attention. Firstly, please stay muted when you're not speaking. And if you are not muted, the Zoom Master reserves the rights to mute attendees when needed. Please also keep your electronic devices on silent mode to avoid disruptions. You might also avoid eating in front of the webcam if your video is on. And lastly, you're also encouraged to switch on your video to engage and interact with the speakers. You can also put out your questions in the chat box below. Next, I would also like to share with you the video release consent. By attending this remote PR festival, part of District 102 online event, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information and any shared messages may be shared with other meeting participants and will be recorded by Toastmasters International, who may use the recording in the future as it sees fit. The remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of said video recordings. Thank you. And with that, I would like to make a brief and small introduction of our session organizing chair, Chloe Lau. Be proactive, be responsible. That is her motto. Currently, she is serving as Vice President membership in Money Masters KL Toastmasters Club and also Treasurer in Master Jaya Toastmasters Club. And with that, I will pass the control to Presentation Mastery 3, Chloe Lau. Over to you, Chloe.
Thank you, our Sergeant at Arms Dynamic Leadership Level 1, Jordan Lee. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to District 102 Festival. We would like to extend our gratitude to our senior district officers for your presence. In the room now, we have our District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Srinivas KM, District Administration Manager, Effective Coaching Level 5, Fatima Afia, District Public Relations Manager, Presentation Mastery Level 5, Rashmi Raghav, and also our immediate past District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Li Mingzi. Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. I'm Chloe, the Section Organizing Chair. Wow, look at on the screen now we have 146 participants and the number is still increasing. Everyone, PR Festival is a 2-day event for you to experience the magic of public relations. We have 9 engaging speakers and 9 exciting learning sections. Don't miss out any of them. And now we have come to the second section, graphic designs with Canva. If you want to master Canva and save time creating masterpiece, you are absolutely at the right place now. Our speaker today, Distinguished Toastmaster Cajetan Barretto, will take you step by step through the process of creating dazzling, brand compliance visuals with Canva. You can apply all the knowledge and skills in your club and also in your business. I know you are already excited to learn all the magic tricks. Now, I would like to invite our energetic and enthusiastic Toastmaster of the day. He is also our District 102 Area E2 Director. Let's welcome Dynamic Leadership Level 3, Alfred Lim. Over to you, Alfred.
Thank you so much to Sessions Organizing Chair, Toastmaster Chloe Lau. Ladies and gentlemen, the Toastmaster and guests, welcome to PR Festival's second session's graphic design with Canva. I'm Alfred, District 102 Cajetan E2 Director, and also Toastmaster of the Day at your service. I can see the large crowd is over here. Why not we take this opportunity on the video, take a beautiful photo together. May I ask Zoom Master, you need help to work together? Ladies and gentlemen, please on the video. Yeah, don't be shy.
Okay, everyone, please turn on your video. We will
Please
have
turn on
a
your
group
video.
photo. Okay, the first page, be ready. 1, 2, 3. Now is the second page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Zoom Master, for taking our photo. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's a benefit for all of you who attended these workshops. Right after this workshop, you'll be allocating 15 minutes for Q&A sessions. So don't worry, don't have to purposely interrupt halfway, ask a question. If any question of mine, you can just drop down in the chat box, or even for those attending a Facebook Live, you put the question as well, because we do have a dedicated question master to help you to capture the questions and ask after the workshop. Good, don't worry about that. So now moving on to the 3 kind reminder that I'd like to share with you. Number 1 is no recording at all. No. Number 2, if you're aware of this, it's going to be a copyrighted material. So you shouldn't do a screenshot or do a selfie together with the materials, like no way. And number 3, just make sure you enjoy. Good. Allow me to introduce the speaker right now. You can see the great photo poster here. All right, our speaker, he's a certified trainer. He joined Toastmaster in August 2017. You know, just a short period of time, I can see that he has been taking out so many leadership roles. He was formerly our area director, division director for District 20, which is for the Kuwait and Bahrain. And not just that, he has gotten 2018-2019 Toastmaster of the Year. Wow, it's great. It's a pleasure to have you in the room. So next, just a reminder for the poster competition. Next, please. Yes, the poster is back. So right after this workshop, we were given 48 hours to prepare this workshop, because the best 3 poster will be selected by a speaker and a feature on the District 102 website and also related social media. But definitely will obtain the consent from the winner. So 2 things they'd like to remind you. If you want to participate in the contest, there is a Google form link to be shared in the chat box. Take a look at chat box. Yep. Here's the 2 teams, the main team that you want to, for your direction, the post direction. Number 1 is a demo meeting. The other 2 is speechcraft. You can select one. I repeat, demo meetings or speechcraft. Good. Get this opportunity, make yourself like graphic designer, try this out. It's definitely fun. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the Toastmaster and guests, are you ready? If you're ready, please give a thumbs up emoji. Let's give it a start. Wow, I can see most of you are ready. Let us welcome distinguished Toastmaster Cajetan Barretto. The screen is yours.
It is amazing to see such a large attendance, and I must congratulate District 102 for this initiative. It's amazing. First of all, let me acknowledge the presence of the District Director, DTM Srinivas, and the person who invited me today for this session, the PR Manager, Rashmi. We started our journey when pandemic struck in March of 2020, and I started conducting Canva sessions, and that's where we connected. And I see the zeal and enthusiasm in her and the District 102 in creating amazing content. And this PR festival today, I believe, is an epitome of what it means. I have never seen something like this in any other district. 2 days of PR workshops on everything from Canva, designing, LinkedIn. Y'all guys are doing amazing. So with that, let me start my session. Graphic designing with Canva. First of all, as mentioned by the Toastmaster of the day, my name is Cajetan Barretto. I have various hobbies. Because of COVID, training became one of them. But really, I love photography. I love traveling around the world, and I hope to see Malaysia in the very near future. And I go to different places because I like to meet people. I like to enjoy the beauty, and I like photography. And I have two of my social media channels, Facebook and Instagram, where I post all my photography content. But of course, in the last 18 months, that has not been possible because, as we all know, we are stuck here in our houses. So what I did is I took all my photography gear, I converted it into a YouTube channel, and I started creating YouTube videos with the channel called Tech for Toastmasters. And that has really helped me to interact with Toastmasters from around the world, as I am doing today with District 102. I have kept the microphones muted for now, but if there is a need, please put your queries in the chat. I will read it. If I need to interact with you using audio, I will unmute you. Do use the speaker view as much as possible so that you can see all the content clearly. So what we are going to do basically today is, first of all, focus on Canva, but at the same time, we mostly are Toastmasters and we want to do things that are brand compliant. So we'll talk about brand manual. You have already covered, those who attended the first session, perhaps a little more detail about branding. I will show you the brand portal where we can get all the assets that we need for our designs. We'll go in depth in Canva. We have a lot of time. Let us do it nice and slow. I'll show you some of the editing techniques that are available in Canva. And then finally, how we can share, collaborate, and save our designs. But before we do all of those things, I want to get a sense of this 174 participants that are in this session today. And some of you might be able are there on Facebook. Unfortunately, you won't be able to take part in the poll, but let's have a short poll. There are 3 questions. I want to understand how many of you all are Toastmasters, what's your experience in Toastmasters branding, and finally, what's your experience in Canva. Based on that, I might be able to adapt my session to go a little faster, a little slower. Let's see. So I have almost 10, 11 non-Toastmasters. And I will do my best to make sure that you get something out of the session today. Even though we talk branding, we talk Toastmasters, whatever I do today, you can apply them to your normal work. Whether you want to create a birthday flyer, whether you want to, maybe for your local club, you want to do something, we have, as of now, 17 non-Toastmasters in the room. We have some experts in Canva, and I will keep it for a few more seconds before I stop and I share the results with you. So, based on those who have contributed, we have 60% non-Toastmasters. We have a lot of novice but most of you all have good understanding of branding. And there are 32 people who have never used Canva. So that tells me how to approach this session for those who have never used Canva. Very good. Let me now switch to my sharing, and don't get scared. Things may look weird on the screen for some time. All right. So let's dive into Canva. Let's dive into Toastmasters branding and how we can create content very easily. So the 30 people who have never used Canva, first of all, what is Canva? Canva is, first of all, a very simple to use tool that you don't need to install anything on your computer. All you need to do is go to canva.com and start designing. If you are using a mobile, then you can download the app. There is an app called Canva, and you can do the same thing. And you can seamlessly move between the app and the website. So when you create something on the website, you can go and edit it on the mobile. If you create something in mobile, you can come and edit it in the desktop or MacBook. It doesn't matter. So all you have to do is go to canva.com and then create your profile. We can create a profile. Let me sign out. And if this is the first time that you use Canva, you go to the website and it will ask you, how do you want to create your Canva account? You want to create it using your Google ID, you want to create it using Facebook, or you can use your own email ID and password if you want to have a separate password for Canva that is separate from Facebook or Google. I have created my account using Facebook, so I don't have to remember another password. And you're inside Canva with your own account. Now, Canva comes in two flavors. We have something called the free version, which is what I'll recommend all of you all use. And then there is a paid version where you pay $10 a month. I have both with me, but I am going to use the free version because I want to show you that you can do almost everything that you need to do using the free version. You don't really need the pro version. It does have some benefits, but we as Toastmasters, as non-profit organization, can go by fine with just the free version of Canva. So once you start Canva, you want to start creating designs, and we can create different kinds of designs. We can create posters, we can create Instagram posts, and for each of this, the dimensions of your design will differ. And when you create your design, you must decide, where am I going to post this design? Am I going to post it on my Instagram account? Am I going to post it on my Facebook? Or do I want to print it as a A4 paper? And based on that, you will start creating a design. Now, in this session today, I don't want you all to follow along with me strictly by creating whatever I do, but I just want you all to make sure that you can understand the steps that I'm going through. As mentioned by the team, we have a challenge today. And the challenge today is to create a poster that is focused on either speechcraft or a demo meeting. So after the session, after you have understood all of the aspects of creating a brand compliant design, sit down with Canva, create this design, either choose Speechcraft as a topic or a demo meeting as a topic, save the design and upload it in the link that has been posted in the chat. Okay. But today, try to understand all the concepts, because you can go back. For example, this event is live streamed on Facebook. Go to the Facebook page, go through all the steps that we are going through, and then recreate them and then create this design. Having understood that, let's start by creating our first design. And to do that, we start by using this option called Create a Design. And as I said, you have to decide what kind of design you want to create. Is it a square shape? Is it a Facebook type of post? And based on that, you can choose the different settings that are available here on the bottom of this Create a Design. We are going to create a Facebook post. And if you don't find the options that you want, you can simply click on the search button and type here Facebook, and it will give you the different Facebook type of posts that we can create. So I'm interested in the Facebook post. Click on this. And it will give you a blank design that is suitable for a Facebook post. Now, before we start designing something, at the end of the day, today we are talking about Toastmasters. We are talking about branding. And when we start creating a brand compliant design using Canva, we can't use everything that is available for us in Canva. We have to pick and choose. And in branding, there are a couple of things that we need to focus on. And the first thing we need to focus on is the colors. What kind of colors can we use in a design that is brand compliant? Let me open the chat and ask you all to tell me. So I will put it here so that all of you all can see the chat messages. So Timothy 10 says that the best 3 who create a design within 48 hours after the end of this session will get a gift. Hopefully it will be an iPhone 13 that has just been released. I don't know. Depends on the budget of District 102. But let's get to the colors. What are the different colors that we can use in a Toastmaster brand compliant design? Can you all put in the chat? Let's read some messages. Maroon, loyal blue, gray. Bernard is very hopeful. Put in all the effort in the next 48 hours. Yellow, loyal blue, yellow. Correct. So, burgundy. So most of you all have a good idea of the colors that we can use. But for reference, let me just open the brand manual and keep it as a reference guide for us. So everything we do has to do with the brand manual. And we have a new brand manual. It has new guidelines. And if I scroll through the different pages, let's move to the first part, which is the colors. And as we can see, we have essentially in Toastmasters 3 colors. We call them the primary colors. And the names are True Maroon, Loyal Blue, and Cool Gray. They are very specific in the sense of what color code we should use. It's not like I open Canva and I just approximately put a blue color or approximately put a gray color. It has a very precise color code. And then we have something called an accent color. Accent color is something that we use to highlight certain elements within your design. It's not the primary color. And in addition to this 4 colors, we have something called the neutral colors, which is black and white. They are part of our design, whether they are in the palette or not. You can use white and you can use black. And these are the color codes that we are talking about. 772432 is the color code for true maroon. These color codes can be represented in other formats such as CMYK, which is used for printing purposes, RGB, red, green, blue, that is used for your monitors, for your screens, for your displays, and Pantone is used by professional printers. So whenever you are creating content and you want to publish it in a professional printing press, you will not tell them use 772432. You'll tell them use Pantone 188, and they know precisely the color code to be used for your design. Let's go to our blank design in Canva. And in the chat, I will post all of the color codes that I will be referencing. So the primary color codes, we have cool gray, true maroon, loyal blue, and the color codes are mentioned there. These are the hex color codes which are used using Canva. Then we have the accent color and we have the gradient colors. I'll come to gradient colors a little down the line. Any particular size for the poster for the challenge, I will leave it to you. Whatever you think is the right size for the message that you want to create. If it's a speech craft, you want to make it an A4 size, go ahead and do that. If you want it like a Facebook poster or an Instagram post, anything goes as long as your message is loud and clear. So let me start with the colors. I want to have a color for my design, my Facebook post that I'm creating here. And the way we set colors is by using this option here called color. It's like a color wheel. Now, if I was to choose, let's say A9, B2, B1, which I put in the chat, let me just copy and paste it. And I type the color code here. This is fine. This is a cool gray background. If I want to make it true maroon, which is 772432, let me copy from here, Control C, paste it here. This is fine too. So any of those 3 colors are fine. Then we have this accent color, F2DF74. If I make my background color this, do you think it is fine as far as branding is concerned? Can I use this color as my main background color for a poster or a design? Jamila says no. So all of you so far agree that this is not, it's okay to use the color, but not as the primary color. I'm happy to see that all of you all understand that. But what about white? White color is defined as FF, 6 times F is true white. Can I use white as a background color? And all of you seem to agree that it is fine. Excellent. What about the black? Black is defined as 0, 0, 0, 0, 6 times. That's pure black. Can I use this as my background color? I would like someone to put in the chat why not. Siva has the right idea. Why not? Black represents death. To a large extent, I think that's the idea, that it's the mood that is conveyed. It's not that you can't use it. Nobody has said that you can't use this as a back. There are two main problems. First is, if I were to try to print this on a paper, you can imagine that I will quickly run out of ink on my paper, because it will try to use all the colors that are available to print it. And secondly, it sets a wrong tone. Not advisable. That's all I can say. So the colors that we can use for our background would be white, true maroon, loyal blue, and cool gray. So let's set it to one of those colors. Cool gray. So I think all of you have understood the concept of colors. We can move to the next topic. And I have a lot of topics that I want to cover. The second topic that I would like to cover is the shapes and elements. So in Canva, we can use different kinds of shapes to make our design interesting. And if you go to the left-hand side in the elements, we have different kinds of elements. And first, what I'm interested in is this element's called lines and shapes. We will explore this first. So again, let me go back. It's elements, it's lines and shapes, and let me click on see all. The interesting thing about all of these elements that are available to us to use are mostly brand compliant. You can use all of this in your Canva design. Select any shape that you want, resize it like this, or using the corner handle, you can move it like this to make it different dimensions. Move it like this. So this is an example of a shape. Let me bring a triangle shape. So you can use any of the shapes that are available, because all the shapes have the color aspect. That means I can select the shape, I can click on the color button, and I can change the shape to different colors that are brand compliant, including, by the way, the happy yellow, because F2 DF74. We can use this because it is an accent color. It can be used to highlight certain aspects within your design. Coming back to the shapes, feel free to use any of the shapes to enhance your design. Now, since we are talking about speechcraft, or we are talking about open house, I will create in the process a simple, not the same level that I expect you all to deliver within 48 hours, because I don't have 48 hours to do it. I will create a simple poster like this to show you how we can use the logos, the images, the elements to create something like this, and explain to you some of the aspects of editing using Canva. So this will be my reference poster. I used in the morning, I just checked District 102 and I found Summit Toastmasters Club. So I chose their name. I found President Surin. So I copy and pasted his photo from Facebook. So whatever I have done here is all available to you, and I'll show you from where I picked up all of this information. I hope somebody from Summit Toastmasters is here. So let's say you all are launching a speechcraft and you want to create a poster. So this will be my reference poster here on the second page. The first page I'll use to show you different aspects of the Canva. So in this case, in this particular design, my background was white. So let me change the color of the second page to white, which as we know is F 6 times. Sorry. F 6 times. So this is my background of this poster. And I want to use some elements like this, a border around the poster. So how I do that is I can go to elements, as I said, lines and shapes, click on the see all. And if you scroll at the bottom, you will find that I used this element like a angle. So when you bring this element in your design, you want to ensure that the size, the height of this element or the color is the right size. And the way we do that is if you hold the corner of the design like this, you can make it the height bigger or smaller. So let's say I'm interested in about this size. Once I'm satisfied, I can move this element to the corner. And to extend it all the way to the right, hold this handle, the middle handle, and drag it to the right. Then hold this handle at the bottom and drag it down. And I have created my first element, brand color. Let me check what is the color used there. It's the same. It's a true maroon. You can verify the color by clicking on the color and make sure that it is the true maroon color, the one which I posted in the chat. I want another element on this side of a different color. So rather than creating the whole thing again, what I can do is we will learn something called copy paste. So this is the second aspect that I want to talk about elements. Once you create one element, you can copy that element and you can replicate it. So how do we copy elements? Let me just remove this chat for the time being on the side. So this is the element that I have. It's an angle. I can right click and say copy. So I am copying this element. The other way to do that is from your keyboard, you can use Control C. Either one will work. Control C or right click and say copy. And once you have copied, you can right click again and say paste. And it gives you another element. So copy paste. Very easy. Whenever you have some text when you type some text and you want a similar type of text, rather than selecting the element, bringing it into your design, just say Control C, Control V, copy paste. Of course, I want the element to be on the other side. I want to rotate the element, and now I will show you how to rotate elements. When you have any element, you find at the side of the element, if you see, a small kind of a object that allows you to change the shape or the direction of this element. Okay, so it's like a small shape that you will find on the right side of your object. You can turn like this, make it 180 degrees, and you can then move it and place it like this. Of course, I wanted a different color here. So for this second element, I can click on the color button and change the color to Loyal Blue. Right, so I have created two elements. I have shown you how to copy paste elements. I have shown you how to rotate the elements. We are well on our way. Let me go back to my reference poster, which says Summit Toastmasters Club. And the club number is the area, division, district. So I want to type this text in my design here, Summit Toastmasters Club. that brings us to fonts. And just like how we understood colors, let us understand fonts, because it's very easy for in Canva to just say type text. But when we create Toastmaster brand compliant content, we have to be conscious of the fonts that we can use in this design. So let's go back to our chat again and let's have a discussion on what are the different fonts that we can use in a Toastmaster brand compliant design. Srinivas, okay, Celestine, or who asked it? Okay, Stephanie, I will answer your question about how to store colors very shortly, don't worry. So let's talk about fonts. What kind of fonts can we put in this design? What are the different fonts that are available to us as Toastmasters to use? For those who are not Toastmasters, you can use any fonts, it doesn't matter. But when you are a Toastmaster and you want to create a Toastmaster brand compliant design, you have to be conscious of the font. So Montserrat, Gotham, Myriad Pro, Source Sans Pro. Let's go to our fonts. Now, as per Toastmasters, they have two fonts. The first font is called the Gotham font, as you can see here. And Gotham font is the primary typeface that we have to use whenever we are doing headings, for example, or highlighting something specific. And the second typeface that we use, or the second font we use, is called Myriad Pro. Myriad Pro is used for the body, the text of your design. So these are the two fonts that we can use in a Toastmaster design: Gotham and Myriad Pro. There used to be another brand compliant font last year called ITC Lubelin, but as of now, these are the only two fonts that we can use. Both these fonts, by the way, are beautiful fonts. No question about it. You must have seen them in the Toastmasters magazine. They look really nice. But at the same time, they're expensive. You have to buy them. And I think the package for Myriad Pro itself is $1,000 or more. And as Toastmaster clubs, we can't afford to pay for such expensive fonts. So what Toastmasters have understood and allowed us to do is they have given us something called alternatives. So the Montserrat is not the Toastmaster brand font. It's an alternative that we can use in our content when we can't afford to buy Gotham. Similarly, if you can't afford to buy Myriad Pro, then you can use Source Sans Pro. So this is the two fonts that we can use. Gotham, if you can't afford Gotham or can't use Gotham, use Montserrat. Myriad Pro is the font. If you can't use that, use Source Sans Pro. There is also a third font which is like a backup, and that backup font is called Arial. Those of you who use Windows, for example, and you want to create some content using Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, you could use Arial as your backup font. Is that clear? Can I have some thumbs up or something in the chat that you understood the font and the alternatives? Thank you so much, John, Stephanie. Microsoft Office user, you can actually, if you are a Microsoft user, that means you are using Windows. There are also a lot of fonts that are clones. They are not Gotham. Like if you want to use Gotham, which looks almost like Gotham, it's a clone. So we can say, you can go and say something like Gotham. So you can get a free version of Gotham and install it on Windows, and it will look almost the same. But again, as I mentioned, these are called clone fonts. Somebody has created them and provided them free, but they are not the real Gotham fonts. Mac also should be able to allow you to install your own fonts. Just Google it, install the fonts. All operating systems allow you to use your own fonts. Okay. But coming to Canva itself, Canva, if I want to, first of all, let's create a text. Let's say Crystal Toastmasters, Summit Toastmasters Club as a text here. And to enter the text, first of all, we have on the left-hand side an icon called text. And we can choose any of this text. Don't use all this fancy text. These are for non-Toastmasters. Those of you who are non-Toastmasters, feel free. Make something like this. Make your posters, happy birthday greetings to your friends and family. You can do all this nice looking things, but at Toastmasters we are limited. We can't use all of this content. We have to stick to the top part, which is the normal text. So let me choose a heading, and I will say drop it here and type Summit Toastmasters Club. Of course, that's too big, but that's very easy to fix. There are many ways we can resize this text. One is simply to hold the corner handle like this and resize the text this way. Also on the top here, we have something called the text size. We can increase it here or decrease it here. It's your choice. And you can position it wherever you want. And now we come to the part about the font itself. What font should it be? Since this is a heading, what should be the font here? If I was using, let's say, I had the access to the Toastmaster brand font, what font would I be using here? I should be using Gotham, right? But since if I search for Gotham, there is no Gotham available in Canva. Because as I said, Gotham is a paid font. We can't have it. But notice what Canva has cleverly done. Canva has said, we don't have Gotham in our library. You can upload it if you have it. Of course, that's a pro feature, but it says I have similar fonts, and lo and behold, that's the Montserrat that Toastmasters has authorized us to use. So you could use any of these versions. You can use the classic version. You can use the extra bold version, or you can use the semi bold version. It's up to you. All of them are brand compliant. Right? So this is the first text that we have put, brand text, Montserrat, because we don't have access to Gotham. Color of the font, I want it to be Loyal Blue. So select it, choose the color from here, and choose Loyal Blue. And my first line is done. As I was mentioning to you earlier, whenever you want to copy text, rather than again dragging and dropping the text here and then changing, you can simply select the text by clicking on it, Control C or right click, copy and paste. Right? You have the second text. If you want to change the font of the second text to be Myriad Pro, and when you don't have Myriad Pro, obviously we will use Source Sans Pro. This one. And I'll change the color to True Maroon and change the text to the club number. Club number is 5058. Area 4, Division C. District 102. Once again, select the text. If you want it to make it a font which is smaller, you can do something like this. Let's talk about alignment of text. When you have a couple of lines of text like this, we want to make sure they look neat, they look aligned. And Canva has a couple of tools that help us to do that. First of all, as I move the text around, you will notice a couple of lines appearing, pink lines in my screen, right? What do they indicate? When I move the text like this, when I see this line in the center, it means this is now perfectly aligned in the center. If I move it down, and I see a cross like this, it means now it's perfectly aligned both horizontally and vertically. Secondly, when you have the text and let's say the size of the text box is like big like this, you want to keep it a certain size, the alignment can be in the center, the text, or if I click here at the top, I can make it left aligned, I can make it right aligned, and then I can make it center aligned. And this can be used to ensure that your text, your whatever you type, looks neat and clean. For example, let me make this Summit Toastmasters Club right aligned. I just keep clicking till it becomes right aligned. Then I'll take this text box, and also I'll use this guides. When I move it to the left, as you can see, a pink line will appear to indicate that this line and the line on top are aligned, the first text and the second text. Similarly, if I move it to the right, you can see that it is aligned both sides. So if I now right align my text, the second line, I will be ensured that it looks neat and clean. That brings me to the next part about when you have multiple objects like this and you want to treat them as one. So let's say I have created my club name and my area details, and I want to look at both of these elements as a single element. So what I can do is I can click on the first element, hold down the shift key, and click on the second element. Both elements are selected now. If I go up on top, I will see something called group. So when I group elements like this, the cool thing is I can treat both of these objects as one. I can resize them, I can move them around as a single object. So once you have created objects and they need to be together, select all of them and group them. So as you move the objects around, as I said, Catherine, the lines come automatically to tell you the position of your object in relation to the design itself. Is it centered? Is it horizontally and vertically aligned? Is it aligned with the other objects? So you can use those guides to keep it neat and clean. Grouping. So once again, what if I want to split it now? It is grouped, but I'm no longer interested in grouping it. What I can do is click on this group. It will show me there are two objects. Click again, and on top it shows me ungroup. So ungroup it, and now both of these objects are individual once again. Okay. So to group objects, first of all, ensure that you are happy with them. In this case, I am happy that it is like this. To group the objects, select on the first object, hold the shift key, click on the second object, and both objects will get selected, and you can see the blue line on both the objects, then this option on top automatically changes to group. And now they are grouped. I hope that is clear. You can try it out later on by yourself till you get it. It's very easy. So we understood now the fonts, that it has to be Montserrat for the headings and Source Sans Front for the body of the text. We have learned how to show elements, how to rotate them, how to copy paste them. Let's move on to the next important aspect of a Toastmaster design, which is the logo. When it comes to logos, your go-to website, of course, is the Toastmasters website. Resources and brand portal. So whatever we can find in the brand portal, we can use in our design. Here I want to highlight certain things. If you found a logo on somebody's design and it looks interesting, it looks nice, but when you come to the Toastmaster website and you don't find it anywhere here, what it means is that this element used to be acceptable before. They had these logos, like you might have seen something like a Toastmaster logo with a lot of rays around it. This was one of the brand elements a couple of years ago. But now those elements have been retired. When you are creating from today onwards any content, then the elements, the logos and the colors should be what you find here on the brand portal. For example, if you want the logo, you can come and check the different logos that are available. We have the color logo. We have the grayscale logo, the white logo, and some Facebook ready logo. These are the only logos we can use. Of course, there are other logos where, for example, we have something like this logo, and then we have logo with, let's say, they come as zip files, so we'll have to check them out. But with the title and so forth, these are the various logos that we can use. We have some Pathways logos. Then for Gavel Club also there are some logos. Let's look at the normal logo, the color logo. And we have three options available for us. We can use the JPG, PNG, and EPS. And you may ask, what's the difference? Why should I understand, or why should I bother with one over the other? For Canva work, I would recommend that you use PNG. PNG is a sort of a format which has transparent background. So that means whenever you use PNG and you use it in Canva, the background of that logo will be transparent. If you use JPG, the background will be white, and that might not look good if your design doesn't have a white background. So my recommendation, always go for PNG when you're using Canva. I don't know who will use JPG, but just say PNG is the best. The quality is also better. So click on it. And the fastest way to get the logo from the Toastmaster website into your Canva design is right click, copy. Once again, right click anywhere on the image and copy. Then go to your design and use the option Control V, that is Control V on your keyboard, to paste. And directly it will come into your design. Use the corner handles to resize it to a suitable size. Place it where you want. Make sure there is enough space, what we call breathing space, around the logo. Nothing obstructs it. And then you're good to go. If I want to make sure that this text of the club name and the details are aligned in the center of the logo. See what happens if I move the text around like this. I will see that pink line showing me that it is aligned in the center. And it will look like this. Next, I will show you how to create this kind of text which has a link that can be used to directly jump to your maybe registration form or to your Facebook page. So how we do that is, again, we can drop a text box, click on the text, drop any text box here, make sure the font is So Sans Pro. And type any text. Let's say click here to go to our Facebook page. Resize the text to whatever size you want. And the way we can add a link in our design in Canva is by using this option that you can see here on top called link. So what we do is we select the text, we click on the link for that text, and we can type the link in this box. And where I got the link from, I went to Facebook and I searched for Summit. I search for Summit Toastmasters Club. And this was the one, I guess. Yeah, 5058. And I took this link, which is here on top. I selected it. Control C to copy it. Copy the link. Come to my design and enter the link here. So as you can see, we have created a link in our design. So when you share this poster, people can click on that link and that will take them directly to the Facebook page. The only point is that this links work if you save your design as a PDF file. If you save your design as a PNG or as a JPG, then this link will not work. This is the thing you have to keep in mind. If you want to share links, then you have to share your design as a PDF file. And from the PDF file, anybody who clicks on this link will be able to go to that Facebook page or a registration link or anything that you want to send the user to. You can embed those links like this. Type the text, click on the link option and type the link again. If you want, I'll do it again. Type any text box, drag it in your design. Right, so this is any text box. Then you need the link. In my case, I went and picked up the link from the Facebook page. I went to Facebook, I selected the link and I said Control C. Then came to my design and clicked this option here, link, and Control V to paste that link here, and it becomes a link. Right, so it becomes a link. Resize it as you wish, and you are done. If you want to see how it works, you can download it as a PDF file and then you can click on it and it will take you to that Facebook page. Let me complete the rest of the design. I'll say Speechcraft. I want it in maroon or true maroon color. Next, I will create this shape, which is just a line shape. And if you go into your elements, as I said, lines and shapes, these are all the shapes that we have. We can simply draw a line here like this and change the color to cool gray. Whenever you have two objects like this allows me to explain one more concept. Is whenever you have two objects like this competing on each other, on top of each other, you can make one object go behind and one object come in front. For example, in this line that you see here, I want this line to not obstruct or not go over my border. So what I can do is I can click here and click on this option position and say backwards. So I have moved that object backwards, which means it looks a little neater now. So when you have multiple objects, you can move them front and back. Let me give you another example. I have a square here and I have a circle. Let me change the color of the circle to this way. So as you can see now, the circle is on top of the square. If I want to bring the square in front, I click on the square, position, and bring forward, and it comes like this. Or I can move it backwards. So when you have multiple objects stacked on each other, you can use this option from forward or backward to position it in the right way. I hope that is clear. Whatever I'm doing as of now is all using Canva free. As you can see, my account is Canva free. Nothing that I'm using is using the pro account as of now. Next, let me bring another interesting element, which is a shape. Let me see what shape I was using here. I guess it was this one. Yeah, this shape. Again, this shape has two colors, and you can again use two of the Toastmaster brand colors to make it brand compliant. Let me see what you have. I have cool gray and I have a loyal blue. So what I can do is I can change this blue to cool gray and this one to loyal blue, and it will be exactly the same like this, right? So that is the shape that I have used. So use shapes to create interesting designs. Next, I want to type some text inside that shape. This text, some aspects of speechcraft to speak confidently, learn how to deliver presentation. I want to highlight some things. You can choose anything that you like to highlight. Similarly, to put it here, go back to your text box, choose any text, and I will, for the sake of speed, I will just type it here like this. Make sure the font is so Sans Pro. So, align it the way you want. Left align is better for something like this. Brings me to the other aspect of text manipulation. So I have here 5 lines and they look little congested. What can I do to make them interesting? So what we can do is we can select all the text using the mouse like this, or use Control A to select all the text. And we have here text alignment or text spacing options. So first of all, I have line spacing. I can increase it so that it becomes like this, right? I can increase the letter spacing so it becomes like this. So when you have text boxes like this, you can play around with the letter spacing and the line spacing to make your content interesting. Easy? I think so. Coming to the images, very important aspect of Toastmaster branding. And there was an interesting question that was asked. I missed it, but it goes towards what I see in a lot of designs where a VPPR approaches the design or the communication from the perspective of the theme. Like I think somebody said something about a horror theme. And you want to convey in your design horror so that people can relate the theme horror to the design horror. Unfortunately, that's not how branding works. So my advice, if I was to give you any advice today, is, my friends, whenever you are told to create a design and you are given a theme, keep the theme at the back of your mind. Create the design using branding, and then later on see whether some aspects of the theme can be showcased in your design. Don't start creating designs with your theme as your primary aspect. And if you go and see any of the posts where there is a theme, there is an interesting theme, the branding or the poster is invariably not brand compliant. That comes to the images. That is what I want to highlight today. What kind of images can I place in a Toastmaster brand compliant communication? And one thing that comes to my attention is that when we are creating this communication, try to understand who we are creating it for. Are we creating it for Toastmasters or are we creating it for non-Toastmasters? My stand is that PR content is for non-Toastmasters, to introduce them to Toastmasters, to introduce them to communication, to leadership. So when a non-Toastmaster encounters your communication or some other club communication or some area communication, that should all have the same kind of message. Oh, there is an organization called Toastmasters. Let me check it out. At the end of the day, they might not end up coming to your club. They might end up going to another club and joining that club. But for me, the interesting thing is that they join Toastmasters. And that, I think, should be the basic idea when we create communication for non-Toastmasters, to give them a consistent message, whether they are in Kuwait, Malaysia, India. Oh, there is an organization that can help me to improve. And they have this consistent message, branding, images. It looks like if I join this organization, I'll become a better speaker, a better leader, and not a comedian or let's say a horror, something like that. So your theme is fine to highlight certain aspects of your meeting, but the branding should be Toastmasters. So with that in mind, let's talk about the images. In my opinion, the best images that you can place in your design are your club members. I have some images uploaded. I'll give you an example. This is an image of my club. Before COVID-19, of course, this type of images are the best because they convey what the club is about. Who are the members? How are they interacting? How are they enjoying themselves in this community? If you have something like that, that's the best option to use. And especially after this COVID, once we start going in person, the PR should always carry a camera, even if a mobile. Keep taking pictures. and use those pictures in your design. If you don't want to use those, you think these are not good enough, then Toastmasters has been kind enough to provide us with a lot of quality professional grade images that you can download from the brand portal. So if you go to the brand portal, you go to professional images, click here to access. And the nice thing about it is anybody can download this, even non-Toastmasters, by the way. So those who are non-Toastmasters in this meeting today, you all want to take a part and create Toastmaster brand compliant content and participate in this event of creating a poster on Speechcraft or Open House, feel free to do that. So these are the various images, 100 or so, that you can select. Let's go here. And let's say I want to use this image. You can download it and you have different options available to you. Small size, original size, or medium size, depending upon your need. A medium size is more than enough for a poster. And it's downloaded on my PC now. Once you download it, you can go to your design again here and click on uploads. So the upload allows you to upload whatever you have downloaded. This is my poster. I mean the image. It will take some time to upload it in Canva and we can use it here. So the image, first of all, if you have a club member type of images, number 1, else use the Toastmaster brand portal, use those images. Also, you can use the images that are available in Canva. I'm not saying that you can't use any. So in Canva, we have something called Pexels, which is a free image resource. But we can't use anything that is available here. You have to be very careful of what images that you would select from here. For example, if I was to search for meeting, and if I find a meeting that has similar resonance as a Toastmaster, I could use it. For example, something like this could be used. It looks like a Toastmaster meeting, which should be fine. Let me remove it for now. The other aspect of images is that you can, as you resize it, you can also do a little bit of editing on them. You can say, for example, crop. Crop allows you to remove parts of the image like this. Okay, so you can use cropping. You can apply some effects also. For example, you can make it a little brighter. So you can do some kind of editing, not much, but you can do some saturation. You can make it black and white, or you can make it really punchy with color. So we can do this. And there are some filters that you can use, built-in filters. So all of this we can use. The other thing is that if you had a pro account, you could also use it to for example, if I have a photo like this and I want to remove all this background from this photo, you need a pro account. But for us who are using a free version, I will show you a simple trick. We have something called remove.bg. You can use this tool. It's a free website for removing background. And this is what I had done, by the way, for the picture of the president of Summit. Let me show you that. So this was the photo I downloaded from Facebook of president of Summit. And I wanted to remove this background from this photo. So I went to remove.bg. I selected upload file. I chose that photo. and it removed the background for me like this. So you all can use this tool to remove background from portraits very easily. You can download it and then use it in Canva. So that's what I did. I downloaded it, and as you can see here, this is the photo without the background, the same photo. That brings me to the next element that I wanted to explain to you is the frames that we can use to showcase certain members. So in the elements, we have something called graphics, not lines and shapes, graphics, and we have something called frames. So frames allows us to, there are lots of them, but actually I'm interested in this frames. So what is a frames? For example, if I select this frame and I place it here, a frame is like a placeholder to put images inside it. So if I have this frame like this, I size it accordingly. And then I will put the photo that I have of the president and I drag it and I put it inside the frame. Okay, so we can use frames, for example, to highlight. And if I want the color of the border to be a different color, that's very easy. We can change it like this. We are almost there. I want to cover. So removing background is done, frames. Aligning, I have already shown you, grouping. Locking and unlocking objects. This is something I want to highlight. What happens is when you're working with Canva, once you place something and you're happy with it, you want to make sure that by mistake you don't move and misalign things. So once you're happy with certain objects, what we can do is we can click on that object and we have this option here called lock. Once you lock an object, it will not move. So for example, I want to lock the border, lock it. Lock this border. So the borders become locked, the logo becomes locked. Let's say I want to lock the name also. So this becomes locked. So when you are happy with certain aspects of your objects, lock them so that they stay in place and they don't move around while you are playing around with the design. At any point you want to move it, you'll see you can't move it. So if you want to move it, unlock it. Click on the object, click unlock, and now you can move it. Let me add the final touch by adding this shape, the star shape, which we'll find in the elements. So if I click on lines and shapes, let's say I want to use this star shape and change the color to happy yellow, which is the accent color. Put some text inside it. What did I want to put there? Let me see. So the Speechcraft, I want to highlight to them that they are getting a good deal. The first 5 to register will be free. I have already explained to you how to rotate the object. So if you see here at the bottom, you can rotate it to whatever angle you want. And once again, if you want to group both the star and the text together, click on the text, hold the shift key, click on the star, and group it. Now both the elements become a single object. I can increase them or move it around together as a single object. And the rest is just some text boxes. There is nothing special here. Let me just in fact copy all of this so that I don't. Right, so this is the additional text that I had. I'm sure you can easily do that. There is nothing special here. Text boxes, colors, that's all about that is here in this. Next, I want to talk about the new elements that have been added in the brand manual, and those are called gradients. I want to spend 5 minutes on gradients. I have another 5-6 minutes left before the Q&A session. So gradients is a new, let me open the manual and let's see what are the gradients we are talking about. Yeah, these are the gradients. So we have 3 gradients that we can use in our design, and gradients allow us to create slightly more interesting content when it comes to colors. Instead of restricting ourselves to those 3 colors, we can use gradients to make it more colorful, the design to pop out. So we can have a blue gradient, we can have a maroon gradient, and we can have a cool gray gradient. And these are the color codes associated with each of these gradients. And in the gradient itself, we have something called a linear gradient and a radial gradient. What's all this? Let's experiment. Let's go to our design. This is my blank page for playing around with gradients. So if I want a gradient, gradient that is a background, in the elements, we have something called I can type here gradients. So there are a lot of gradients. Most of them we cannot use because if you see here, if I use this gradient, I cannot change the color, and this is not brand color. So there are a couple of gradients which allow us to change the color. And secondly, those are free. So this is one of them. Okay, it's free and it has 2 colors that allow me to change those 2 colors. How do I do that? I have the gradient. I click on the first color, and let's say I want to make it the blue gradient, and the blue gradient is 004165 as the first color, 006094 as the second color. So I'll do that. This is the first color, 004165, and then 006094 as the second color. And you have a gradient. You can move it around. You can resize it. You can crop it. You have this option to crop so that the shape of the gradient matches your design. You don't have to stick to the same design. You can crop it, then you can move it like this. If you want to crop it further, no problem. Crop it exactly the same as your shape of your design, and you have a gradient background. Okay, you can use the gradient not just as a background, you can use it as an element also in your design. And once you have it, once you have, you know that if you want to keep it fixed, the answer is to lock it, and then your gradient is done. Now you can start placing other things on top of it. For example, I can put some text box. This brings me to another aspect of colors versus the text. For example, here the text is in white color, which is fine. It could be yellow also. But what if it was black? What if it was maroon? The problem here, if you have a design like this, is that there is not enough contrast. So it's difficult for our eyes to read this text. So the other aspect of branding is that when you create any text on a background, make sure there is enough contrast between this so that it's easy to read. Which means if your background is dark, such as blue or maroon or black, then your text should be light, and vice versa. So here white would work. To a certain extent, the gray would work, the yellow would work. Okay, so this is how you create a gradient. But what is a radial gradient? How do we create a radial gradient? Let me remove this gradient first and go back to my elements. And there is a gradient called tricolor gradient. It's very difficult to find it if you search, but if you type the word tricolor gradient, you should get it, which is here. And you can see when you place this gradient, it allows you to change 3 colors, right? So it's not 2 colors anymore, it's 3 colors you can change. The first color, let's say I want the blue gradient, so it will be the 004165. Second color will be 006094, and the third color will be again 4165. And this is a tricolor gradient. Remember, you can crop it to whatever size you want. Not a problem. Like this. And you have a gradient that is tricolor. If you want this gradient to be, let's say, this color, the cool gray gradient, then the colors are different. That is, here the first color will be A9, B2, B1. The third color also will be A9, B2, B1. And the middle color will be F5, F5, F5. Sorry, it should be the middle one. And this will be this. This is a cool gray gradient that you can use in your design. And the final aspect of gradients is that when you have a gradient, you are also allowed to use something called transparencies. You can see, you can use transparencies as shown below. That is, if you have a blue gradient at the bottom, you can have a white color on top. Same thing for maroon. But if your gradient is the cool gray, then we can use the blue. So in my example here, I can have an element such as, let's say, a text box like a rectangle like this, but the color should be blue. And the second aspect is that it can be at 70%. So if you have here something called transparency, we can change the number to 70. And this gives you another color kind of aspect when you're creating Toastmaster brand compliant content. So you can use this as your color. So that takes care of the transparencies. And finally, once everything is set and done, you need to save your content or you want to share your content. Let's say, let me delete this whole page since I want to focus only on the final result. I want to share this with you. There are a couple of ways we can do it. We can download it as a JPG, PNG, and as I said, as a PDF file by clicking on the download button. So we have all these options that we can download, PNG, JPG, and so forth. Or I can directly share it. If I want to say, click on the share button, and I want anybody with a link to see this design, I can say share a link to edit if I want them to make changes to my design, or if I just want them to see it as a view, I can change it to share a link to view and then say copy link. If I post this link in the chat now, you will be able to click on this link and it will take you to the same design. Because this is another way of sharing, by directly sharing the link to your Canva design. If you want them to edit, then change the sharing option to say, I want to share for people to edit. So we have covered quite a lot, and of course, if there was time, I could have covered more about newsletters and so forth, animations, videos, audio. But I think there is enough material now for you all, the participants, to fire up Canva after the session. Start thinking of what you want to create to highlight or showcase a speechcraft program or an open house. The link for posting the submission is in the chat. And I look forward to your submissions and the creativity that you will bring to the table. This is a very simple example. Look at it, but build on all of the things that I have explained to you about gradients, transparencies, rotation, elements, and so forth to create something interesting. We have now enough time because I have seen a lot of questions that have come up, and I wanted to make sure that I leave enough time to address those questions. I will start by answering the first question that was asked about how do we save this colors so that it becomes easy for us to use the colors, what we call the brand kit. So in your Canva, in the main screen of Canva, we have something called a brand kit. And brand kit is promoted by Canva as an option for you to upgrade to your pro account. So if you want to save all the colors, save all the fonts, upload, you can subscribe to their pro account and make use of those features to make your life as a designer easy. But if you have a free account, you can store up to 3 colors in the brand kit. So if you click on the brand kit and you see my colors, you can remove them. It will allow you to say, in my colors, add a color. So let's say I want to store the Loyal Blue. That's my first color. Then I want to store the True Maroon because I use them often. And I will use the Cool Gray. 3 colors. If I try to add the 4th color, it will say add, go for Canva Pro. But with 3 colors, because these are the primary colors and these are the colors we use, most of the time you can get a lot of work done faster by storing these 3 colors. And as you can see, if you had the Pro account, you could have also uploaded your own fonts. I could have uploaded the Gotham clone. I could have uploaded the Myriad Pro clones and used them instead. I could have also saved all my logos, different logos in one place rather than going to the brand portal every time. I could have kept them in Canva. So this is what brand kit allows you to do. For your free account, you will be able to use it for these 3 colors only. Okay, now our question master must have been noting down Sally. Sally, do you have questions that you have noted down that should be addressed in the session?
Yes, Cajetan. So thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Cajetan, for your wonderful sharing. Wow, I believe all of us have actually learned a lot from his sharing on how to use Canva to create a brand compliant design. And we are now actually have more than 170 audience on Zoom and Facebook together with us today. We received actually lots of response and queries from them. And now let's take a look on some of the questions so that Cajetan can further share with us some of the tips that they are wanting to ask. Firstly, we actually have a question from Rao and Jamilia. So they're actually asking, can we use GIF or embedded video elements on our poster into our poster, and it's actually brand compliant? So Cajetan, do you have any sharing on this?
Yes, so we can use GIFs, we can use videos, but there are slightly different restrictions when it comes to videos. The first is, yes, you can create a video, no problem. You are allowed to use video, you are allowed to, for example, create, let's say, let me show you some of the examples. Videos. So there are a lot of videos that are available in Canva itself. So you could use them as long as they are brand compliant, or you can upload your own videos also here. There are two issues. First is every video that you create must have this disclaimer on it. So there is a guidelines for that. So as long as you put videos, so all you have to do is you have to start your video with this text. Okay, so let me go to Canva and say, let's say I'm going to create a video, by the way. It's very easy, by the way, in Canva to do that. We can say video, YouTube, let's say, yeah, video ad. I want to create an ad for my club. So it gives me a different design shape. So the first frame that I want to create, I have to put a text box and put this here, right? You can, of course, brand it the way you want, the background, the color. So the first slide should be like this. And of course, you can have some kind of effects so that animate it so that it looks interesting. Something like that, or something like that. Have a first slide which talks about the copyright issues, and then start building the other parts, like put some video elements and keep creating it. Canva, it's very easy now to create videos. In fact, there are very nice controls at the bottom to allow you to edit the different frames, make the duration, like this is 5 seconds. If I want to make it longer, I can make it, and then it will play accordingly for that duration. So it's very easy to create videos also now in Canva. So you have to put this first slide and then start creating whatever you want. That's the second is, as of now, Toastmasters says you can't directly use a video as is. You have to send it to brand@toastmasters.org. So you have to send it to this email address, and they will then approve it. Most people, of course, don't do that, don't send to them and get their approval. But ideally, as per the guidelines, you create the video, you make sure that the first slide has that disclaimer, then you create the video, you email it to brand@toastmasters.org, and then they'll say, hey, it's okay, go ahead and use it. That's the right way to do, or the proper way to do.
Okay, thank you, Cajetan, for your tips. I believe the next question was somehow related to our first question, and actually this question was raised by Nick Faiza. So he is actually asking, can we actually use image or any element with the writing that is where the font is not under the brand menu? So can we use that in our poster? Like for example, the videos or the image, but the font type is not Rotham or Montserrat. Can we use that in our poster as well?
Uh, so it's very difficult for me to answer questions that are outside of the gamut of the brand manual. So that's why what they have done is they have given you the flexibility saying, hey, you can create content. As long as you follow our guidelines, you're fine. If you have not followed strictly our guidelines, send it to us. We will review it. And if you notice, by the way, in the Toastmaster magazine, there are many elements that are not brand compliant, right? So every month that you receive a magazine, you'll say, oh, you tell us not to use, let's say, GIFs, or you're telling us not to use this kind of funny faces, but you have it in your Toastmaster magazine. How is that possible? And the answer is very simple, because they are looking at the holistic picture of the whole thing, or the whole magazine, or the whole design. So you can create something that is away from the standards, but the right answer is send it to brand@toastmasters.org and get their approval. So it's because that becomes a case by case basis, and they might approve it, or they might say, no, this is, if you can fix it.
Okay, sure.
I hope that
Thank you.
clears the answer, right? Yeah, we are not authority on that. You can use certain things outside of the branding, but it always send it to them and get their approval to go ahead.
Sure. Okay. I think they also will already receive the tips. So as long as is within the brand manual guideline, and if there is anything out of it, just send to the brand at toastmaster.org, then we can get further approval from that. Yeah. So now let's move on to the next question. The question will be from Chen and Gilbert. So they're actually asking, how can we crop the pictures into the shapes between merge shapes or inter shapes?
Yes, for that you probably have to join our next masterclass from Yasser. Yasser uses PowerPoint, and PowerPoint has all of these features that you're talking about, where you have an image and then you can so if you have, let's say, an image and you want to sort of create different shapes, Canva hasn't reached that level where, as of now, Canva allows you to crop it or apply some filters or something like that. Or at the most, what we can do is we can create some kind of a shape over it, a different kind of shape, like let's say a circle. But you will not get the same flexibility that you get in PowerPoint, where you can cut this object into different shapes, and that is possible only in PowerPoint. So don't miss Yasser's session on that. He is very good at it. He will explain to you.
Okay, so I believe most of us that would like to know the tricks on it will wait for the next session. Then we'll come to the next question that we're actually asking is, can we possibly to insert a corporate club logo into our poster?
Certainly,
what is the
yes.
rules and regulations on that?
Yes. So if you are a corporate club, only if you are a corporate club, you can have your Toastmaster logo on one side, and let's say we have the corporate logo. I don't have anything right now here, but let me pick up my company logo. So let's say I want to have a corporate club and my corporate logo is this. It's fine to have like this. Okay, it's perfectly acceptable. This is perfectly acceptable. This is perfectly acceptable. They both can be of equal. One should not dominate the other. Toastmasters logo, of course, can dominate the whole because it's a Toastmaster thing. But if you are having Alsair, then this might not be a good idea, because then you are showcasing your corporate logo as the dominant. But if they were of the same size, you will be fine. In the brand manual also, there are clear guidelines for us to use a corporate logo whenever you're creating content for your corporate club.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Cajetan, for your tips. I actually Before we move on to our next question, I do see that there's one audience here is raising her hand. So Shalima, are you having any question they want to ask? Salima? If no, then we shall move on to our next question, maybe. Okay, so Cajetan, due to our time limit, so here we come to our last question here. So we are actually wanting to know how can we share our design work file to other people instead of downloading it into PGF or JPEG. Can we share it online via Canva?
Yes. So as I mentioned to you, there are two different ways of sharing content. One is you click on the share button and you can directly share the link of Canva. That's simple. And the link can be to view or to edit. So that's directly a link you can share and people can click on that link and it will open the same design for them. And the other, of course, is to download as PDF, PNG, JPG, different formats that you have available. So these are the two different ways we can share, either a link to your Canva design or download it as a PDF or a video file or PDF.
Is there any possibility that we can share like entire folders to our friends and our EXCO committee team instead of just one
Yes,
file?
so this is a feature of again, if you pay money, you can do a lot of things. So let me switch to my Pro account. So in the Pro account, we have something called Teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can create a team and then we can have people in that team and teams can share and exchange and edit and you can create shared folders. So all the team members are able to see the content, they can edit together, collaborate. So this is a feature of the Canva Pro account. Funnily enough, I'm not paying for it. I was given this as part of my Toastmaster. I had simply applied to Canva and maybe you all can try it also. There is something called Canva for non-profit. I simply submitted my application about a year ago and I said I'm a division director of Toastmasters International and they gave me a free Canva account and not just free $10. As you can see, I have a team. Where is that gone? Here. So technically they have given me something that costs like $100 per month because all of these members of my team also have the pro features. So that's something that is available with the Pro account, the collaboration part of it.
Wow, I think there's a lot of features that we can and also function that we can actually explore in Canva beside the tips and the knowledge that you shared today. For those who are really interested to explore further deep into Canva function and features, do feel free to explore. And thank you to distinguished Toastmaster Cajetan Barretto. This has been a very rewarding session and we have actually come to the end for our Q&A section. Thank you everyone for all the questions posted. We really apologize if some of your questions posted were not addressed just now. Once again, thank you for your participation in this event and let's give a round of applause to our speakers, distinguished Toastmaster Cajetan Barretto. And now I shall now pass over back the control to our Toastmaster of the day, Alfred. Over to you.
Thank you so much, your questions, Master. Effective Coaching Level 3, Toastmaster Sally out. Also really appreciate for sharings from our distinguished Toastmaster Cajetan Barretto on exploring with us on the Canva use. This is personally found it so amazing. A lot of things can work it out. And I believe just a reminder to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, we have the poster contest. And we'll be sharing again the chat box for you, for those of you who may miss out early on. Yep, click in, try it out, unleash your creativity, and share it with us. And with that, we do have a feedback sessions. Because we have a Zoom Master and ASA, going to share feedbacks links. Because your feedbacks really matter. Please take a couple minutes to deliver the feedback with us because feedbacks is very important for us to improve and serve you more and better in the future. Let's do it. Zoom Master, do you have a slides? I'm going to share the QR code on that. All right, yes. So you have QR code here, just scan it and deliver the feedbacks from you. It may take about 30 seconds on that. Thank you so much once again, distinguished Toastmaster Cajetan Barretto. I find it so great. A lot of things can you work it out on this software, on the website software itself. Okay, so you're closing in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello. Yep. For those of you missed out, we can just explore on the chat box because we have a link there. Just click in. You can just continue on that. Moving on, we have a certificate presentations. Allow me to invite Senior District 102 Officer. Please turn it on your screen because so far we have District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Srinivas, District's Public Relations Manager, Presentation Mastery Level 5, Rashmi Regal, District's Administrations Manager, Toastmaster Fatima Afia, Immediate Past District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Lee Ming Zi. And we also together with Organizing Chair, Innovative Planning Level 4, Timothy Tan, and the section's Organizing Chair, Presentation Mastery Level 2, Chloe Lau. Please on the screen, let's take the photo together. So Master, please help.
Sorry, may I know Fatima name? May I know Toastmaster, the district? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, she's on. Yes, yeah.
Go on, and then also the speaker.
And our trainer.
Cajetan, can you switch on your video so that we can pin you, so that we can spotlight you?
Okay, everyone
Okay,
is
very
ready.
good.
Cajetan went for a drink.
Ready your pose? Hold on. Hold on. The thing not going, the bottom bar not moving, so go on. Yeah. Is Madam Li Mingzi away?
I mean, Mingzi?
Yeah, I'm
Coming
back.
from
Okay. Go on. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Master, for
Cajetan.
coming up.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you once again, distinguished Toastmaster Cajetan Barretto. Thank you so much. The next, I would like to invite the section's organizing chair, Chloe Lau, to present the certificate to role player. Chloe, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Alfred. And also a huge thank you to our speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Cajetan Barretto, for the information and all the practical tips. I hope everyone of you here enjoy it and had a fruitful section. Remember to bring these magical tricks to your club and also to your company. Ladies and gentlemen, we could have pulled off this section without a hard work and dedication of the role players. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge all our role players by presenting the team certificate of appreciation. I would like to invite our speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Cajetan, and our organizing chair, Innovative Planning Level 4, Timothy Tan, to present the certificates. We have our Toastmaster of the Day, Dynamic Leadership Level 3, Alfred Lim Ka Singh, And also our Zoom Master Persuasive Influence Level 3, Chan Pui Fei, Question Master, Effective Coaching Level 3, Sally Yap, our Timer, Persuasive Influence Level 2, Wong Yat Yu, and our Sergeant at Arms Dynamic Leadership Level 1, Jordan Lee Chao Jian. Zoom Master, can you help with the group photo?
So everyone is on the screen, right? Yes. One,
Yes.
2, 3. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I also to borrow your hands to please give our role players a round of applause by showing clapping icons.
Well done.
Once again, thanks our role players for investing your time and putting our efforts. And I also would like to thank every one of you here to be here with us today. Now I shall pass the control to our organizing chair, Innovative Planning Level 4, Timothy Tan. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chloe. I believe that you all have did a very good job, and I would like to present this certificate to you. Someone spotlight Chloe.
Okay, hold on.
Say,
1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Over to you.
Well done,
Thank you.
Chloe.
thank you. Okay, next up, we are having our next session very soon. We are going for a 10-minute breaks, and please come back after 10 minutes. We are having distinguished Toastmaster Julian with us, telling us how are we going to look good at Zoom. How are we going to Zoom like a pro? And not only Julian will join us. After Julian, we are having our Toastmaster International Region 13 advisor, who is distinguished Toastmaster Sudesh, sharing us with his personal experience of how Toastmaster has transformed him. So I believe that it is a very, very interesting session. So don't leave us. Stay for after 10 minutes. Please come back with us and enjoy the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Timothy. Our next trainer is already present in the room, so stay tuned. Just grab your drinks and come back soon. Okay? Yes, Julian